Top Fuel Racing Series is on the air. Live from Kansas, it's the Krums Kustom Graphix Wicked Twister 225. Tonight's broadcast being brought to you in part by Krums Kustom Graphix. For all your in-sim graphical needs, Paul Krumrye is who you need to speak to. Krums Kustom Graphix. Promotional consideration paid for by AZ Direct, your online electronic superstore. They do ship worldwide. All you have to do is take a look on their Facebook page, AZ Direct. And our good friends over at Discount Nutrition. For all your supplement needs, dncsupplements.com is where you need to go. Tonight's overlay being brought to you by PZ Overlays. Paul Zoda providing some of the most beautiful overlays in all of iRacing. For more information on how you can get your own, you can find Paul Zoda on his Facebook page. That's Paul Zoda, PZ Overlays. Tony Trapasso up in the booth with you tonight for this one. Live from the Kansas Motor Speedway, and I'm kind of disappointed we're not running the Roval tonight, but hey, beggars can't be choosers, right? And for those of you who are in iRacing, you understand why I would love to have seen the Roval version of this track. Qualifying underway right now. As we are yeah, we are. Sorry, folks. Brain fart. Qualifying underway right now. As group qualifying taking place. So far, Sage Karam atop the pile. Scotty Brinson sitting second quick. Damon Martinez sitting third quick. Chris Simard, Paul Krumrye. Byron Rodney jumping into the top five. There's Rodney in the 05 tonight. Different number than we're used to seeing him in. Making a rare start. You heard him in the booth last week. Much obliged, Byron, for handling business while I was, well, I was in the hospital. Let's call it like you see it. But back this week. Quick check of the weather conditions is 88 degrees ambient air temperature. Sun has already gone down. Partly cloudy skies. 88-degree track temperature at the start of this beast. And you'll see multiple grooves being used tonight. Some new paint schemes and some familiar paint schemes, and it's going to take me a while to get used to who's driving what anymore. So far I've counted 4 new paint schemes on track tonight, and you can tell by the marks on the wall that turn 2 has already been Calamity Corner tonight. Making his return to the league, welcome back Bob Riley, driving the Newman Haas 33. Good to see Bob back with everybody. Karen Bergelli back with the troops. Good to see Karen back. A new face there with Cameron Bustain. That's how I'm going with it tonight. If I'm saying it wrong, throat punch me after the race, kid. Mike Grandy back with the league. Andy Yerk making his debut tonight in the 44, currently sitting 6th quick. So a few new faces. But right now, if you take a look at the top 2 times, 11 1/1000ths of a second separate Sage Karam and Scotty Brinson. Karam working on pit entries. Probably a good idea. 2 in a row, going for 3 in a row tonight. And how about that gap between Paul Krumrie and Jeff Hollingsworth? As Hollingsworth jumps over Krumrie. They were 1 1/1000th of a second separating the two of them. Damon Martinez to the top of the pile. Good grief, Damon. Flat getting it done right now. A lot of traffic in front of him, though. A lot of dirty air, and that's the one complaint that I was hearing all through the hot lap session. As Mike Grandy to the top of the pile, separated by 1 10,000th of a second. Wow. There's Grandy in the USAF 52. And that is a low-flying airplane right now, folks. A lot of close groupings that we're seeing so far as Grandy flirting with disaster, almost going into the wall. Brinson with some drafting help gets past Sage Karam. Karam relegated to 4th. Still about 2 minutes left, so enough time for Karam to really blister one here. And he's got his teammate in front of him for some help. Drops it down. That lap not gonna... I take that back. Sage Karam to the top of the pile. Wow. If you take a look at your top 4 in qualifying, separated by less than 22 thousandths of a second. Unreal. Just straight up unreal. Bob Lacavara back in the fray this week. Still rocking the blue and gold. And some of the other series that he's running, he's put that car back to the black and gold that we were so familiar with. Still hasn't done it here in the IR18, but that's probably not too far down the road for Bob. As last 30 seconds of qualifying, getting ready to reel off here. Jeff Wubker and Chris Voiles still have yet to lay down times. So 22 cars have put in qualifying efforts so far. And that is going to bring out... There's the checkered flag. So finish up the laps you're on, kids, because it's time to turn them loose. It's everybody bringing it pit side. Some guys practicing to see what it's going to feel like to throw this car down pit road under speed. Probably not a bad idea, as this is not one of the easiest pit roads to get onto. So starting up on the pole, unofficial track record, Sage Karam, representing the Pennsylvania Posse, 24.655. He's joined with New York's own Mike Grandy. Row number 2 is going to go to Damon Martinez and defending series champion Scotty Brinson. Paul Krumrye and Chris Simard make up row number 3. Row 4 goes to the Canadian crippler Keith Mayato and the California kid Karam Bragelli. Jeff Hollingsworth and Matt Burkhart make up row number 5. Bob Riley and Chris Walker in row 6. Row 7 sees Robert Dudley and Andy Yerk. Byron Rodney and Cameron Bustane make up row number 8. Row 9 is going to see Bob Lacavara and Marcus Hagman. Sam Cooper Bennett and David Gainsforth in row number 10. Kevin O'Brien and Mark Walker in row 11. And starting shotgun on the field, Jeff Wubker and Chris Voiles, both of whom did not take time in qualifying. So 24 cars scheduled to roll off here tonight. And would like to remind everybody that 21 one-thousandths of a second separated pole from 4th place. And what the hell is going on here? There we go. Everybody finally on pit road. Still waiting on... Actually, there we go. Now they're rolling. Helps if I'm live, doesn't it? Sage Karam going to have the button when we get ready to roll it here. .150 laps of scheduled distance here tonight as the field works its way into the 3-4 complex. Karam and Grandy going to bring him down to green. Pace car getting ready to make that hard left turn onto pit road. Night conditions here at Kansas for the Krums Kustom Graphix Wicked Twister 125. Grandpa Papa Viagra, it's time to get it on in Kansas. Green flag comes out, Karam pulls the trigger, and we are underway. Martinez goes with him. And Scott Brinson slots into 4th, and there is an angry pack of wolves behind him. Karam, Bragelli, Grandy, Brinson, Krumrye, Mayato, and Bragelli. As they are already 2 and 3 wide in traffic. Oh, hang on to her. Bob Riley eating the turn 2 wall coming off, or turn 2 safer barrier coming off of off the corner there. Might have some suspension damage. Probably going to need to bring it pit side, as there was a big checkup behind him to make sure that nobody clobbered anybody. Meanwhile, up in front, Sage Karam protecting that low line as Damon Martinez getting the run on the high side. Here comes Grandy to follow Karam through, or Karam through. And the apron is in play tonight, so just because you go down there doesn't mean somebody's got to let you back up. Good luck, guys. Grandy and Martinez still side by side for second. And again, angry pack of wolves behind these two guys. Krumrye with a nose out front on the high side. That's his teammate Scott Brinson on the low side. And Krumrai looking to make it 3 wide as they haul off into turn number 1. Goes to the outside of Martinez. Crosses him over coming off a 2. And oh, baby. That's a hard hit. Jeff Hollingsworth just waffled that car. Let's follow that along again. Off to the outside safety barrier. Bang! Into the inside safety barrier. 170 miles an hour when he hit the inside wall, folks. Thank God this is a simulator. That's the first one tonight. Hollingsworth going to have to burn the fast repair already. Getting ready to go a lap down. We stay green, though. As Paul Krumrai under heavy attack right now from the teammates from SKM. And he's trying to put some distance between himself and Martinez, right in the slipstream of Mike Grandy. Martinez looking on the high side. Thinks about using that third lane, realizes, yeah, it's a little too early and I'm going to be flirting with disaster coming off a 2. Slots in right behind Krumrai. Krumrai right in the slipstream of Grandy. Both of them working the high side on Sage Karam. Karam showing the way currently. Oh, pucker moment for Krumrai as he got it sideways coming through the tri-oval. That transition will bite you if you let it. So if we can get a new fire suit into the 7-Up Goodwrench 88 pits, that'd be great. Because I think Paul just changed the flavor of his fire suit. Meanwhile, that's Keith Mayato, Andy Yerk, and defending series champion Scotty Brinson slugging it out. This is your battle for 6th right now. Oh, Bob Lacavara getting it all wrong coming off a 2. Slide for life on the roll hoop. And let's take a look and see what happened here. Blue, white, and gold car, and gets it all wrong, and Byron Rodney just punts him. You're running that close together at 220 miles an hour. When things go wrong, they go very wrong in a hurry. Bob somehow able to limp that car back to the pits. You see that it not handling quite the way it should be, as he's kind of fighting it right now, but he is able to get it back to the pits. Going to be an EOL regardless. And we are under caution. We are going to step away real quick for a word from our friends from the Esports Network.
And he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
Going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing!
To the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press.
He saves it.
What a save!
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into 2nd place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Venner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that 2nd spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move.
And we are back at Kansas. Sage Karam throwing the entire field a dummy as they go down pit, or everybody went down pit road, except for your race leader and Andy Yerk. The only 2 that actually stayed out. Mike Grandy winning the battle off pit road, going to restart in 3rd. Lap difference on the tires. Going to be interesting to see how this one plays out when we go back to green. What type of tire wear these guys are getting. And it's still early in the event, so now would be as good a time as any to, you know, play the game and see what shakes loose. Take a look at our top 10 after pit stops. Sage, Karam, Andy Yerk, Mike Grandy, Paul Krumrye, Damon Martinez, Karen Bergelli, Scotty Brinson, Keith Mayato, Chris Walker, and Chris Simard. As the field gets the 2 to go, they come down the American Ethanol back straightaway here at the beautiful Kansas Motor Speedway. So look for the lights go out on the pace car, this time across the stripe. And it looks like Karam electing to take the outside line on the restart. Or not. Lights go out on the pace car. Field's starting to double up here. Lap difference between the haves and the have-nots. Karam and Yerk both stayed out. 12 laps on those Firestone Firehawks. Everybody behind them went pit side and took 2. And it's still early in the race, so if you had to figure out what you're doing for tire wear and what used tires are going to feel like, now is as good a time as any, because you definitely don't want to wait till the last minute and find out, oh yeah, hey, this isn't going to work, and just get freight trained with 5 to go. Field working its way through the 3-4 complex. Sage Karam going to have the button one more time. Pace car getting ready to make that hard left turn onto pit road here. As they come off of turn number 4, pace car's in. Karam holds him down a little bit, finally pulls the trigger, and we are back underway from Kansas. Mike Grandy getting a great start on that inside line. Not sure if Andy Yerk spun the tires or not, but he is under heavy pressure right now as Damon Martinez working to the inside of him. So Grandy on a charge right now with a head of steam and the pull going into turn number 1. Sage Karam trying to give him a little bit of dirty air as they make the turn in. Grandy under big pressure from Damon Martinez to the inside. Here comes Karen Bergelli on the outside. Bergelli thought about making it 3 wide for a second there, thought better of it as they haul off into turn number 3. That's Grandy, Martinez, and Bergelli. Throw a blanket over 2nd through 4th right now. Sage Karam continues to show the way, just running a line of his own wherever he wants to put that car, he can. Drops down to pick up Martinez to give him a tow down the back straightaway. That's going to let Grandy pull up a little bit, and not going to be able to get the pass done. Martinez slots in behind Grandy. Looks like the second lane starting to come in to its own already. Able to keep it wound up a little bit more on that second lane through the corners. Momentum the key here at Kansas Motor Speedway tonight as Grandy gets a great run off of 2 down the American Ethanol back straightaway. They're side by side hauling off into turn number 3. Grandy and Karam side by side. Karam with a little bit more momentum. Short way around for Karam. Give that lap to Sage Karam one more time. 37 thousandths of a second at the stripe. And there is a whole gaggle of angry wolves behind him right now as Keith Mayato is throwing his hat into the ring in the only Alfa Romeo powered Indy car at this time. Grandy, Mayato, Bergelli, Krumrei, Martinez falling back a little bit as they are almost 3 wide coming off of turn number 2. Bergelli slots in behind Grandy. Grandy slots in behind Karam. And Keith Mayato on an island all his own right now. Side by side with Grandy he goes. And here comes Karam Bergelli. Gets a great run off of 2. Looks to make it 3 wide. Grandy knows what's coming. Checks up a little bit. Lets Mayato have the run so they're not 3 wide. Still way early in this event. As Mayato with a head of steam now. And fresh tires as they haul off into 1 and 2 again. Oh, contact! And Mayato's into the wall. And Krumrei takes a race car to the face. Let's go see what the chopper picked up on that one. Here they are coming into 1. Watch Mayato on the high side. Tries to duck in behind Karam. Has too much of a run. Makes contact. Eats the safer barrier. And bang. Snap. See ya. Bye. As we are now going to take a look at the GoPro that's on Paul Krumrei's helmet. Boom. So Krumrei going to need to burn his fast repair. Mayato going for a Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Let's take a look and see what that ride looked like. If you had dinner already, I'm sorry, folks, but this is going to be a fun one. You see him just went to go tuck in, had a bigger run than he thought, and just well docked. The last thing I remember was dirt sky, dirt sky, dirt sky, ambulance, pretty EMT. So that brings out caution number 2. And I dare say that was definitely a thank God this is a simulator kind of moment. As a lot of body panels missing off Keith Mayato's number 19 right now. Holy cow. And this time, everybody going down pit road. And yes, Tyler Dudley, that was a race car to the face. And while I'm thinking of it, a word real quick from our good friend Jess Nowak.
Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Revolt, reshare it, tattoo it on your face.
Totally won't regret that.
Yeah, go with everything except that last part of it, folks. We can do without the tattooing on your face, but you are watching a presentation of the Top Fuel Racing Series. They do this every Wednesday night. If you want to get involved, you can find them on their Facebook page. You can find them in the iRacing Leagues page. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Click that bell notification so you find out when we are live again. We are the Esports Broadcasting Network. Tony Trapasso in the booth with you tonight as pit stops abound. And looks like David Gainsforth staying out to try to get a wave around. Sage Karam winning the battle off pit road. Karam Bergelli coming out in second. Mike Grandy, Paul Krumrei, Scott Brinson, Damon Martinez, Andy Yerk, Paul Walker, Sam Cooper Bennett, and Marcus Hagman rounding out your top 10. And that That caution put Jeff Hollingsworth back on the lead lap as he got the wave around. Or the free pass, if you will. So lights go out on the pace car, and there goes Gainsforth to take the I'm in front of the leader wave around. As Kevin O'Brien brings it down pit road to get a little off sequence on pit strategy. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Krumrie probably burned his fast repair on that last one. He's going to be starting right next to his teammate, Mr. Scott Brinson, your defending series champion. New paint scheme for Brinson, and it's no secret that Scotty is definitely a Raiders fan. So new paint scheme on the 14 tonight. So Karam getting ready to turn them back loose as they work their way through the 3-4 complex one more time. Pace car is in, and Karam pulls the trigger. Bergelli wasting no time dropping down to pick up the draft of his teammate. Grandy and Krumrie go side by side, and here comes Martinez to the inside of Krumrie. Krumrie in trouble right now on that high side. Maybe he didn't get the damage fixed. Only time will tell. As Grandy with a head of steam now. And Bergelli just about takes his nose off as they go into turn number 1. Here comes Martinez. And Krumrie finally getting that car up to speed as they're almost 3 wide going into turn number 1. Krumrie wisely backing out of it, knows that it's way too early to be making any crazy moves like that. He's going to slot in behind his teammate Scott Brinson. Speaking of teammates, Sam Cooper Bennett on a charge right now as he goes to the inside of Mark Walker. Three wide through the tri-oval. Sam Cooper Bennett on the way low side rolls out of it so he doesn't kill Damon Martinez. Martinez, 0 expletives given. Is Krumrie with a head of steam on the high side. Scotty Brinson trying to make something happen. As Grandy and Bergelli almost get into it going into turn number 1. Grandy has to back out of it. That's going to let Brinson get a great run on that high side. Grandy playing defense right now, and we are back under caution. Keith Mayato eats the wall. What happened there? Oh, boy, that's what happened. Byron Rodney takes a race car to the face. Okay, who was it? No. It weren't him. It was Hagman. So watch this coming off of 2. Let's take a look at that from Samard. So watch the top of your screen. It's Hagman in the blue car, Mayato in the white and red. And basic physics, two cars cannot occupy the same real estate at the exact same time when both are physically solid objects. And let's take a look at the wild ride that Marcus Hagman just went on. Both cars 200-mile-an-hour flat spins. And this is what Byron Rodney just saw. Boom goes the dynamite. As we are back live and on board with Sage Karam right now. And it looks like the majority of everybody stayed out. Only a handful taking it pit side. Quick look at your top 10 in the running order. Mind you, your top 10 did stay out. So Karam, Bergelli, Grandy, Brinson, Krumrie, Cooper, Bennett, Martinez, Voiles, Yerk, and Walker. So, and Keith Mayato has put it on the hauler. So David Gainsforth getting another one of his laps back, putting him now only 2 laps in arrears. .23 of the 24 cars that took the green still running. 22 of them still on the lead lap. As the lights go back out on the pace car, Sage Karam going to have the button one more time. Tyler, I'm not sure which line you're referring to, but glad I could amuse you tonight, sir. So, going to get the restart to start lap 36 of 150 here at the Kansas Speedway. Sage Karam has currently led all 35 laps. Pace car's in. Karam has the button. Pulls the trigger, and Bergelli immediately jumps down behind him. And Scotty Brinson immediately gets the blinkies. That opens up a little bit of a gap between your top 3. That's Karam, Sage Karam, Karam Bergelli, and Paul Krumrie. And what just happened? Not sure what happened to Mike Grandy. Let's go back and take a quick look there, because things just went horribly wrong for Mike, and I'm not 100% sure what happened. Here we are going into 3. Oh, that's what happened. He had to chase it up the track, got the apron way too deep, and lost a ton of momentum as we are now back live. And Grandy trying to fight to stay in the top 10. As Paul Krumrye is in an SKM sandwich right now. Works to the outside of Karam Bergelli. Bergelli holding that second lane nice and steady. Martinez going with Krumrye. Drops it down to the inside, and here comes Andy Yerk. Karam continues to show the way. Bergelli in second. Paul Krumrye a strong third right now as Bergelli runs him a little bit up the hill going into 3. Kills any momentum that Krumrye might have had. Krumrye slots in behind him coming through the tri-oval. And they are coming up quickly on the lap car. That's Kevin O'Brien, who got popped for speeding on pit road. Oh, baby. That's not what Mike Grandy was hoping for. Let's take a look at what the chopper picked up on that one. Got it all wrong. Sam Cooper Bennett nowhere to go. Just pops him one. No harm, no foul. The only thing he made contact with was Sam Cooper Bennett's nose. And Cooper Bennett should be able to get that nose fixed. As we go back to caution on lap 42 of 150. We are going to step away for a word from our good friends over at Low Budget TV.
Down into turn number 1. Another slide job and crossover.
The brakes are glowing on that left front as we go 3 wide for the 3rd spot. Making sure they won't pull up. Almost in intersection.
Lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press. Sideways. What a save.
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into 2nd place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
He's trying this contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Venner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that 2nd spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
And we are back at Kansas Speedway. Krums Kustom Graphix presents to you the Top Fuel Racing Krums Kustom Graphix Wicked Twister 225. Tony Trapasso up in the booth with you tonight as we are currently working caution number 4. And interesting strategy being played out already. As we're going to take a quick look at your top 10. Sage Karam, Karen Bergelli, Damon Martinez all stayed out 21 laps on their tires. Mark Walker stayed out 12 laps on his tires. Paul Krumrie and everybody behind him all went pit side. So, business is about to pick up. And we got a blinker. As getting ready to turn them back loose. Karam gonna have the button. Field working its way through the 3-4 complex. Sage Karam wasting no time pulling the trigger. Karen Bergelli goes with him. David Martinez slightly asleep at the switch. May have missed a shift. Mark Walker under heavy pressure right now. And that is Paul Krumrie who is inside. Now, Walker on 13-lap-old tires. Krumrie on some fresh skins. So it's going to be fun to see what's going to happen here. As you see Walker dropping like a stone right now. And Krumrie leading the charge right now with the fresh tires. As Sage Karam continues to show the way. That's Bergelli to his outside. Damon Martinez right behind Bergelli. And here comes Krumrie. Bergelli throws the big block going into 1. Oh, baby. Matt Burkhart getting it all wrong coming off of 4. A lot of damage to that National Guard. Yellow. Number 4. Oh, crap. Mike Grandy getting involved in that one. Let's take a look at what happened. This is coming into turn number 3. There's Grandy in the Air Force 52. What happened to Cooper Bennett? Brushes the wall on the back straightaway. Looks like he may have had suspension damage. And, oh! Let's go on board with Robert Dudley. Now, the trouble's going to happen right there, and is there a dentist in the house? As, yeah, Robert just caught one to the teeth. That brings out caution number 5. Damn. As we are back live, and it looks like quite a few of them, about half the field, bringing it down pit side right now. we have reached the 1/3 mark. And would you believe it, your top 10 all stayed out. Sage Karam, Karen Bergelli, Damon Martinez, Scotty Brinson, Paul Krumrye, Chris Walker, Andy Yurt, Chris Voiles, Bob Lacavara, and Byron Rodney. And Bob Lacavara getting that car fixed. Already on the back foot, had to burn the fast repair early, as that car was on its lid at one point. So Sage Karam continues to show the way, has led all 51 laps that have been completed. As I believe the field just got the 2 to go. Gainsforth and Grandy both still in the pits. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Mike Grandy's probably going to end up putting it on the hauler because I believe he's burned his fast repair already. Gainsforth finally rolling. Now Karen Bergelli getting the blinkies. So lights on the pace car should go out this time. There they go, and here we go one more time at it, folks. Sage Karam with one of the 3 drivers with the oldest tires on track right now. That's Sage Karam, Karen Bergelli, and Damon Martinez, all 3 of whom are going to have 30 laps on their tires when we go back to green. Scotty Brinson, 10-lap old skins. Paul Krumrye, Chris Walker, Andy Yurt, 10 laps on their skins. Chris Voiles, 11 laps in. Bob Lacavara, 10 laps in. Byron Rodney, 10 laps in. Everybody else, 2 or less laps. This field working its way into the 3-4 complex. What type of restart can Brinson and Krumrye get as pace cars in? Karen Bergelli blinking badly.
Green, green, green.
Sage Karam pulls the trigger. Damon Martinez walks up the track a little bit to try to take a little momentum off Scotty Brinson. As Paul Krumrye making a run on the high side, or low side now, I should say. Chris Walker getting a great restart. As Krumrye's now under attack. As Chris Voiles right there. Brinson with a head of steam now as they come down the American Ethanol back straightaway. Head of steam, but no hole. Krumrye finally getting it wound back up as he's side by side with Chris Walker as they drag race down the American Ethanol back straightaway. Walker with a slight advantage running that high line coming off of 2. Brinson to the inside of Bergelli. Brinson on the fresher skins, trying to make something happen, and here comes Chris Walker. That second lane starting to come in as Brinson goes way high coming through 4, flirting with disaster up into the marbles. Walker right on his back wing. Krumrai has to lift to stay off of Walker. Not a lot of love lost between those two, as now Krumrai falls back into the clutches of Damon Martinez, and we've got somebody blinking heavily. Who the hell is that? Karam Bergelli, your second place driver. Okay, let the pucker moments begin, folks. And I don't mean with your mouth. Chris Samard trying to be another country heard from, as he's working with Chris Voiles on that high side. Andy Yerk and Voiles almost get into it. Oh, baby, 3 wide right now for 6th place. Yerk wisely backing out of his. Oh, Samard bangs the wall coming off a 2. Seen that lead to nothing but trouble so far. Samard able to hang on to it. As he's getting a great tow right now from Chris Walker. And you've got to wonder how much more does Karam, Bergelli, and Martinez have left in the tank as they're working lap 39 of their current fuel stint. Samard making that high line pay off as he gets by Chris Walker. Walker's struggling right now. May have burned all the goodie off the tires so far, as Samard, the first car on the freshest tires. As he's now all over the transmission tunnel of Damon Martinez. Martinez in a lot of trouble as Samard able to keep it wound up coming off a 2. Martinez starting to struggle on those old skins. And Krumrai has gotten by Bergelli. Bergelli starting to struggle as well. Traffic not where you want to be on older tires. As Brinson gets a run into turn number 3. Brinson 23 laps on his tires. Bergelli 43 laps on his tires. So if you're in clean air like Sage Karam is, the older tire is not a bad idea. However, when you're mired in traffic, probably not the best course of action. And Samard's got to be freaking out right now as he has the freshest tires on track. The only problem is he doesn't have a hole to put the car in. Oh! And we're back under caution.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Let's go straight to the chopper cam on that one. Bergelli checks up to stay off of Martinez. Yerk nowhere to go. Lacavara race car to the teeth. As a matter of fact, we're going to go on board with Bob Lacavara. So pay attention to the yellow cars in front of you, folks, as all hell is about to break loose. There's Bergelli that backs off to stay off of Martinez, and boom. Under tray to the grill for Bob Lacavara. As we are back live. Wholesale pit stops this time, as Mark Walker stays out. So Mike Grandy has put it on the hauler. Cameron Bristain has put it on the hauler. And I'm being told Sam Cooper Bennett has put it on the hauler. So Bob Lacavara gets a new wing, and back out he comes. Walker and O'Brien both staying out. Sage Karam winning the battle off pit road. Scott Brinson jumps 2 spots. Shuffles Bergelli back, as well as Krumrye. O'Brien brings it down pit side. Off sequence with everybody. And Mark Walker getting that bonus point for leading the lap. So your top 10 at the line last time across. Mark Walker, Sage Karam, Scott Brinson, Paul Krumrye, Karen Bergelli, Chris Walker, Kevin O'Brien, Damon Martinez, Chris Boyles, and Jeff Hollingsworth up into the top 10. Quick look at our summary. So far, 1 lead change. Mark Walker, the only other person than Sage Karam to lead a lap tonight. As track temperature has gained 1 degree over your ambient air temperatures, the lights are out on the pace car. Walker gonna have the button. We are closing in on the halfway mark. Field working its way through the 3-4 complex. Mark Walker, the only one who did not pit. 21 laps on his tires right now. Everybody else is 2 or less laps. Pace car is in. Walker pulls the trigger. Sage Karam immediately throws the block on Scott Brinson. Brinson under heavy attack right now from his teammate Paul Krumrie on the high side. And Sage Karam immediately goes to the inside. Full send it mode going into 3. Walker knows he's in deep trouble. Does not have the tires to hang on that low line. As Karam and Brinson both go flashing by. Krumrie on the high side, almost 3 wide for a second there. Looks like they're getting ready to split Walker going down the back straightaway as Krumrie and Brinson and Karam with a drag race going into 3. Karam looks like he's able to handle that corner a little bit better. As Krumrie getting held up behind the old tires of Mark Walker right now, finally able to get a hole as they come off of turn number 2. But that has let Bergelli get by, that's let Chris Walker get by. Krumrie finally gets by, and here we go. The battle is now on. As we are halfway. Walker looking to make it 3 wide. Unfortunately, does not have the head of steam. That's Bergelli throwing the big block coming off of 4. As Brinson gets the blinkies again. Drag race down the back straightaway. Brinson with some help from Bergelli. Krumrie getting a great tow as they haul off into turn number 3. Has to check up just a little bit to stay off of Chris Walker. Walker and Krumrie still side by side for 4th. Bergelli and Brinson still side by side for 2nd as they bring it down the American Ethanol back straightaway one more time. Bergelli with a nose out front, still in full send it mode. Crosses Bergelli over going into 1 and 2. Bergelli pinching down. Brinson has to check up just a little bit. And that lets Chris Walker throw his hat in the ring. And here comes Damon Martinez. And there goes Paul Krumrie. Let's see what the chopper picked up from Chris Voil's point of view. So that's Krumrie in the green, Jeff Hollingsworth in the white and blue with the orange rims. And it looks like Hollingsworth just went up into him. The arrow push is very real. As we are back under caution. And we are going to take a break for this word from our good friends at the Esports Network.
And he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Lee to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press.
He saves it.
What a save.
Look to the outside. Trunkett goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Eyes trying, there's contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Leonard drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the upset the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there by Kustom. There's a little bit of door banging as well.
And we are back live at the Kansas Speedway. Working caution number 7. If you're playing the at-home drinking game and you haven't died of alcohol poisoning yet, you win! Welcome to week 13. The bane of my existence. Anywho, lights are out on the pace car stage. Karam going to have the button one more time. If I sound a little snarky, there's a reason for that, folks. $19 cars still running in this one.
Green flag.
Pace cars in, Karam pulls the trigger, and we are back underway as Marcus Hagman sends it pit side. Bergelli under heavy attack right now. That's Scotty Brinson in the Raiders, number 14, right behind him, as is Chris Walker right behind Brinson. The top four starting to stretch their legs a little bit. Chris Voiles in the in the Rain-X 28, struggling just a tick as Brinson getting the blinkies again. Chris Walker working to the inside of Brinson. That's your battle for third, and here comes Voiles and Martinez. Brinson able to keep it wound up on that high side. A lot of turbulent air right now as they're almost 3 wide going into turn number 3. That's Martinez on the high line as Voiles wisely backing out of it. And he falls back into the clutches of Byron Rodney, who has Andy Yerk all over his rear wing. As Martinez throws it to the inside on Brinson coming off a 2. Drag race down the straightaway. And Martinez just full send it mode right now. Sage Karam, Karen Brigelli, Damon Martinez, Scott Brinson, Chris Walker, your top 5. As Byron Rodney throws to the inside of Chris Voiles coming through the tri-oval. Not yet making it with a head of steam, side by side into turn number 1. Voiles pinching down hard coming off a 2. Rodney going to have to back out of it a little bit. He's going to fall back into the clutches of a very hard-charging Mark Walker right now. As Karen Brigelli trying to make something happen on the high side and getting the blinkies as well, as Sage Karam continues to show the way. Rodney falling back a little bit. And we're back under caution. Let's see what happened again. Matt Burkhart goes on a wild ride. Andy Yerk just stuffs it in there. Let's go on board with Matt Burkhart and see what did happen. The joys of open wheel racing. Yep, that would suck. Tyler, the record number of cautions is 24, and that was set last year at Martinsville in a different series. So, yeah. No, we are definitely playing the drinking game. So, like I said, we're currently working shot number 8. If you haven't died of alcohol poisoning yet, you win. So, Sage Karam stayed out. Mark Walker stayed out. Kevin O'Brien stayed out. Karen Brigelli winning the battle off pit road. Chris Walker, Damon Martinez, Scott Brinson, Chris Voiles, Jeff Hollingsworth, and Paul Krumrie rounding out your top 10. So, that leaves us with 16 cars still running. As Byron Rodney puts it on the hauler. Matt Burkhart puts it on the hauler. Yeah, I'm on strike too, Sam. How's that work? So, 0 fucks given from here on out, as I just stopped caring. I really have. So, yeah. You know, apparently nobody knows what a spotter's for. Nobody knows what mirrors are for. The pace car driver's drunk again. Drivers are going on strike. I don't care anymore. When you haven't eaten in 2 days, fuck them.
Okay.
Joining me now in the booth, man who just caught another race car to the face, Byron Rodney and Connor Ojeda. How you doing?
Hey, Tony. Doing pretty good. Race car to the face. Actually, that last caution was me. These cars get real. Once you burn off some fuel, get a little bit of wear in the tires. Man, they get plowing tight, and I just couldn't keep it off the wall. I tried to hold it against the wall so everyone can get under me, and somebody decided or didn't see me or said, hey, let me follow him, and that was my race.
Yeah.
But I was having a little bit of fun out there. I was able to hold, work myself into the top 10 and stay there for a bit.
You know, that's the part that kind of has me mildly wound up, is the fact that, you know, every time I get an opportunity that, hey, I could race tonight, and yeah, that just gets snatched from my grasp. So, I don't want to hear anybody bitching that, oh yeah, no, it's my only night of the week to race. Yeah, well, you've taken my one night of the week to race away from me about 7 times in the past 2 years, so. Anywho, Sage Karam continues to show the way. Karen Bergelli on the fresh skins, jumping up into second. Mark Walker under heavy pressure right now, dropping all the way back to 6th.
Yeah, Tony, I don't know how Sage does it. I watched him stay out on a couple of cautions that came out, and I know how it was feeling for me on those old tires. He must be having some magic on those feet to keep it from dancing up to the wall and in.
I'll give you a hint. Look where he is.
Clean air? Yeah, that could probably have a lot to possibly do with it.
Yeah.
Aero is real with these cars, folks. I just felt it for myself. I learned a lesson. Do not follow the car in front of me or on the same line around the corner. I'm going to go in the wall.
Well, as has been the rule of thumb, and screw it, I'm just going to call it the rule of wrist from now on. And those of you who get that reference, we can be friends. If you don't get that reference, just unfriend me now. But the rule of thumb in the Indy cars has always been at least get your left side front wing into clean air, and we're back under caution. Watch the birdie. As the Walker boys decide that
now they're time to shine.
Paul Krumrie takes a sponson to the face.
Yeah, listening to race chatter with the drivers after that last caution came out, let's just say it's glad that we aren't broadcasting that channel.
Yeah. Situation normal. Jeff Hollingsworth, a lot of damage on that car. Mark Walker, a little bit of damage on that car. Chris Walker, looks like that car's been through a blender.
And from what I understand from the race owner, Mr. Scotty Brinson, this race is going to be a big shakeup for points.
Yeah, whether it wants to or not. Because I believe there's going to be a lot of drivers getting docked points for excessive cautions.
And, you know, I'm a newcomer to this league, Tony. I've broadcast them once, covering for you last week. And, by the way, welcome back.
I should have stayed in the hospital.
Yeah, well, are the Walkers related?
No.
Okay, because if they are, well, it's going to be a wrestling match in the basement, by what I'm hearing. More like an MMA fight.
No, it would be one of those situations of my sister's a doctor, my brother's a lawyer, and I hate Thanksgiving.
Hashtag, folks, not wrong.
So, anywho, that now leaves us with 14 cars still running. Congratulations to David Gainsforth, who was at one point 4 laps down. Now back on the lead lap. Last car still actually running. So good on you, David. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to put it out there right now. Since we don't see David an awful lot on a regular basis, David has my vote for ESPN Driver of the Night. Just because I feel like I'm at a Grateful Dead concert every time I see his car.
Well, I can also give you an update on the new iRacing release graphics package.
Nope.
A little distracting
Nope.
when they yell green, 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 and the whole stand lights up with flashbulbs.
Yep.
Wait, what?
Yeah, if you have a supercomputer like Byron has, and you can have your graphics turned all the way up, yeah, there's flash bulbs in the stands now. And
there are other enhancements as well. I'll cover those with you later.
Well, whoever thought that was a good idea just needs to be throat punched.
Well, whatever they done, now I know it's more intensive on a machine to carry more graphics, but I don't know what they did, Tony, but I do have to tell you, my machine actually performed better after this release with their new enhancements.
Sure.
Come out with the catch fence lights up?
That's not the catch fence lighting up, bud. That's the flash bulbs of the people in the stands. Which, to answer your question, ladies and gentlemen, I'll answer it for you right now. I don't have the artillery in my computer to be able to pull that feed off. So... Sage Karam showing the way. Kieran Bergelli sitting in second. Damon Martinez, Scott Brinson, Chris Voiles, Robert Dudley, Bob Lacavara, Jeff Webker, Paul Krumrye, and David Gainsforth. Rounding out your top 10. And by now you should have finished shot number 9. Or, if you prefer, just take a complete Henny bottle to the face and call it a night.
Green flag, green flag.
And I'm not live. Great. Sage Karam pulls the trigger. Bergelli goes with him. Martinez goes with him. Chris Voiles flogging it out right now, trying to get some headway made on Scott Brinson. Brinson holding down the number 4 slot right behind Martinez, all over Martinez's back bumper, or back wing, I should say. Sprints into the inside of Martinez right now. Finally with a head of steam and a lane to put it in. As Martinez right behind Bergelli. You got to wonder what type of aero wash the teammates are getting right there. And here comes Chris Voiles in the 28.
Looks like it's going to be a mad scramble around this, as Sage keeps looking for that clean air to run that line that he likes to run.
You know, the problem is Sage Karam is already 37 laps into his fuel run.
Strategy might have played out wrong on that one, because he's going to have to make a pit. He's going to go down some laps, and we're going to see what the guys can do, if they can finish it out on this stint or not.
Karam Bergelli with the nose out front as they haul it off into turn number 3. Sage Karam still able to hold it to the inside as give another lap to Sage Karam.
Using that apron to his advantage. Short way around the track.
Absolutely. And if you take a look, he's the only car on track right now without a lot of marbles on the rest of the bodywork. Everybody else looks like they've been on a dirt track.
Don't know what it is about Kansas, but I will say it has been abusive to the tires. And riding around mid-pack like I was, yeah, I was going through visor tear-offs. Almost seeing a bit of contact between Karam and Bergelli.
Another coat of paint on those wheels and they would have been in deep dew.
Well, it's getting down to it. We're getting close to the time where it's time to hit the scramble button and all bets are off. Go for broke.
Well, we're currently 40 laps to go.
Working that outside line is Bergelli, but Sage Karam just, that many laps on a stint on them tires, he's working that bottom line and holding it tight.
Clean air is what you have to, is one of the factors that you have to put it out there to. You know, especially considering that there's 23 laps difference between Bergelli's tires and Sage Karam's tires. As Karam flirting with disaster coming up the hill, Bergelli able to keep it wound up a little bit. Still 66 thousandths of a second at the stripe.
He's lifted a little bit off that loud pedal because he's not ready to press the issue yet, just a little too early.
Well, when it's your team owner that you're slugging it out with, you're more likely to give a little courtesy than if it were anybody else. Oh, business is about to pick up. Give that one to Bergelli.
Bergelli holding that outside line. He's holding in that clean air on the outside on pressure tires. I look for him to take that outside track momentum. And Sage Karam is starting to have to lift a little bit. And that was a little wiggle coming off of turn 2 that I saw there.
Karam Bergelli did the lead now, followed by Sage Karam and David Martinez. And Sage having troubles for...
Sage going pit side. 44 laps and Sage Karam calling no mas.
Yeah, if he did not get a speeding on pit entry, I would be surprised. That looked like he was hauling the mail coming into the pits.
He was practicing those during the hot lap session. So I'm thinking that, well, let's follow along with Karam and see what type of pit stop he can get here.
4 fresh skins, tank of fuel, off and running. He's no penalty.
Down and away, no penalty, clean and green. Only lost 1 lap.
Now it's getting boiled down to the great equalizer. Will that yellow flag come back out again?
I think it's more a question of when. When will it come back out?
Stay green? Find out.
Short answer, no.
Usually at this point of the race, we've kind of weeded out everyone that's going to bring a caution out, and guys are hammer and tong back and forth that know how to hammer and tong back and forth.
Color me shocked if this stays green. Meanwhile, Karam Bergelli continues to show the way. Damon Martinez, his teammate, right there with him. And the field's starting to get a little strung out as Chris Voiles slugging it out right now with Marcus Hagman. That's your battle for 9th. And Voiles probably burned all of the goodie off his tires, as Hagman, with 10-lap older tires, able to make the move look that easy.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to abuse the right front on these cars, I was finding out in those short runs that I was in. I was just wishing I could have stayed a little longer, but hey, I had to come join my buddy Tony and Connor up here in the booth.
Well, Robert Dudley right now slugging it out with Bob Lacavara, Mark Walker, and Jeff Wubker.
Paul Crumby looking like he's looking to make a run across Dan Martinez, but just can't get it to go.
Walker knows that he's 10 laps to the good as far as fuel goes. So he's just kind of biding his time right now, I dare say. But let's get back to this battle for 5th right now, as Mark Walker has it. And there you see him in the purple Hoosier 01. This is your battle for 6th between Bob Lacavara and Robert Dudley. Dudley throws it to the inside. Lacavara able to keep it wound up on that second lane. Dudley's going to have to slot back in with his teammate. That's Chris Walker, I'm sorry. Chris Walker's 2 laps down, gets in front of his teammate, gonna use, Dudley's gonna use him to kind of tow him along a little bit here. As back towards the front, Crumry looks to the inside on Martinez. That second lane really starting to come into its own, especially later in the run. You're able to keep it wound up there as Martinez pinches down a little bit. Crumry's got to back out of it in the 3rd spot, and Scott Brinson flirting with disaster coming off of 4.
Yeah, those tires on Scotty's car is getting a little old. I'm wondering if he's going to stint that out or is he going to have to pit. 25, coming to 25 to go. These 25 laps, that's the way they're picking them up, putting them down, are going to go by quick.
Well, the bad news is nobody can make it from here except for Sage Karam. The good news is we have not seen the money stop yet for anybody except Sage Karam.
Well, as they say, enter drama.
So a quick look at your top 10 as they currently run. That's Karen Bergelli, Damon Martinez, Paul Crumry, Scott Brinson, Mark Walker, Bob Lacavara, Robert Dudley, Jeff Wubker, Marcus Hagman, and Bob Riley in his return to the league holding down a very strong 10th place finish.
Impressive run by the league rookie there. Very impressive.
League rookie?
Sorry, preoccupied trying to bring up my timing screen so I could actually watch this with you.
Yeah, how's it working for you?
It is up and running now. Funny how I just now thought about it, too.
Anywho. Field's starting to get more strung out now than a frat boy on a bender. As Voiles, in his first race, brings it pit side so he can make it from here. That was his money stop. As he comes out right in front of Mark Walker. And that little checkup that Walker had, oh, Bob Lacavara getting hung up behind Voiles. That's going to let Walker walk back out. And here comes Dudley back to the inside of his teammate. Again, Chris Walker, 2 laps down currently.
Doesn't take much to lose the momentum on these cars.
No, it doesn't, and it takes forever to get it back together. as we are 21 laps to go.
You got to wonder how long first, second, third, fourth, and fifth are going to be able to keep it running before they're going to have to bring it pit side. You could throw a towel over first, second, and third, and
sorry to interrupt you, but Karam McGilly having connection problems right now. Hopefully
he's been blinking all night, Connor. Just let it go.
Something I've wondered, because I noticed under this new release that iRacing gave us, when you blink out and you come back, you see that big puff of tire smoke. Makes me wonder if you're doing that an awful lot, if that's actually working on the tire wear on the bottle.
It should. Meanwhile, David Gainsforth working on the backside of Bob Riley right now. That's Riley in the Newman Haas Haviland, number 33. Gainsforth in the Grateful Dead, number 100. And Riley having control issues. That car darting all over the track right now.
Well, I think if this stays green, Sage had the proper strategy, staying out like he did and then pitting that early. I'm showing him 21.7 seconds behind the leader. So unless the leader can get into pit road, complete a stop, and get out in under 21, it's going to be Sage's race to lose.
No, he's 21.5 seconds behind David Gainsforth, who's 14 seconds out of the lead.
Ah, well.
So call it 34 seconds in arrears.
Still, that's going to be cutting it close for anyone to get in, get a splash, and go. You're going to wonder if they're going to forego the tires, just take enough fuel to get to the end.
Well, the question is, who's going to be the first one to blink of your top runners?
Listening to race control, I just heard the 90 call for his pit in. And once the first one goes, the dominoes usually start to fall. 9th place is going to be coming in.
That's Jeff Wubker in the 90, and he just dropped to 10th. So sounds like Bergelli's slowing down, and he is. Bergelli's bringing it pit side.
Look for the other leaders to come in the next lap or two. David Martinez staying out, picking up a point for leading.
So Martinez going to stay out. Krumrye going to stay out. Brinson goes pit side.
Bergelli, no tire. What a short stop for Bergelli. Looks like he just went in, took a splash, and gone.
Yeah, 4.5 is usually the telltale that you did not take tires.
See where he cycles out on the track.
So far in front of Sage Karam. However, Karam with a head of speed. You see Karam there reeling him in. Yeah,
Karam on the pressure tires as well.
No, not necessarily. Yeah, necessarily. Yeah, Karam did go fresher tires. And Martinez is in. That's going to hand the lead of the race over to Paul Krumrye. 12 to go. As looks like Bob Lacavara going pit side. Krumrye struggling on those old tires. Martinez, no tires as well. And Krumrye finally goes pit side. Ran it, bingo. That hands the lead of the race over to Marcus Hagman. So bonus point for Hagman. Dudley in as well. Krumrye took tires. Walker did not. And there is Martinez and Bergelli side by side. Bergelli into the wall. And we stay green. Well then.
Yellow flag is out.
Oh, wait.
Nah, crap. Whoa! What happened to Sage Karam? Caught the apron in 3. Caught the wall coming through the 4. Lottis. Oh! Completely rips the right front off the car. Marcus Hagman just caught the entire field a lap down. The entire field is a lap down. 6 to go.
If I was Marcus, I would definitely try my best to either stay out and save fuel.
Connor, he's 40 laps into his fuel stint. There's 6 laps to go. You're not making it from here. So he takes a pit side. At best, we're going to have a 1-lap shootout.
Sure.
And everybody's going to be single file behind him.
I apologize. I just didn't know if he could make it.
No.
Back green.
Not even close. So, Hagman took 4 tires and fuel. Everybody else is going to be starting single file behind him because to get the wave around, it's tail end of the longest line. Chris Walker got 1 of his laps back. So, no, I'm sorry. David Martinez got the lucky dog. So now everybody else is going to be waiting for the wave around. Single file behind Marcus Hagman. This has got to be the wildest pit strategy race I've ever seen. As we are 5 to go. Now officially 4 to go. So that's going to put us with 10 cars left on the lead lap. So when we go back to green, Marcus Hagman is going to have Sage Karam, Jeff Wubker, Kevin O'Brien, Chris Walker, as buffers between himself and everybody else who's on the lead lap. Which we should be getting two, I believe, two to go this time across. Nope, one to go. So lights are out on the pace car. So Sage Karam 1 lap down. Next caution ends it, or next flag ends it, I should say, is we are going to have a green-white checkered finish. As the field working its way through the 3-4 complex. The field starting to catch up now. Pace car is in. Hagman has the button. Pretty much single file behind him.
Green, green, green.
And he pulls the trigger. We are 2 to go. Popsicle sticks are out. Marcus Hagman shows the way. Just has to hang on for 2 more laps. Damon Martinez stifled behind quite a ways back. Hagman's going to let Karam get to his outside. Karam tries to keep it wound up on that top side. White flag is out. Hagman just has to hang on. Karam goes to the inside. Hagman gonna let him go. So Hagman gonna hang on for the victory. Brinson let's go back and take a look at that one. What happened to Martinez? Meanwhile, there's your winner, Marcus Hagman. I'm not 100% certain what we just witnessed. So apparently we've lost Byron Rodney.
I'm still here.
We are going to reach out to the man of the hour, the sensational Swede himself, playing the pit strategy almost to perfection. Mr. Marcus Hagman. Marcus, congratulations, sir.
Holy crap, thanks, man. That was interesting.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, I came together with, don't know who it was, so I had to take my fast repair early, too early, and then I was just going up and forth 10th, 20th, one lap down, and so on. But hey, with a good strategy, you can win even if you're not fastest.
Well, you played the pit strategy almost to perfection. You waited to the last possible second to make your money stop and caught the entire field one lap down. I mean, was that something you were planning on trying to pit that late, or was it just one of those, let's see how far we can stretch this and see what happens?
Actually, my plan was to stop with fuel for one more lap and just put 1 gallon in, so I had a really short pit stop, so I should have been able to gain some positions, but not that much. So the plan was to wait, yeah.
Well, Marcus, congratulations on a masterful race run. I know you were talking earlier about you getting into it with Chris Simard there for a little. Excuse me. You and Chris Simard getting into it, coming off of 2. Not the incident that you were hoping for. Was it more of a sweating bullets from that point on as you realized you had to burn your fast repair that early?
Yeah, it was. And the biggest problem, this is actually the second day that I drive with Oculus, and for some reason my spotter doesn't tell me where the other cars is, so I was actually driving in the mirror the whole race, which is a pain in the ass. But at the end it worked. Sorry for Chris there. I think he had to take his quick repair too, and well, that kind of, I had to take it to a safe place.
Very much so. But Marcus, again, congratulations on just a masterful pit strategy. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
You guys at ESPN for broadcasting, and all the Top Fuel guys for having me here, and Scott Brinson for inviting me again. So thank you guys, and have a nice evening.
Congrats on the win, Marcus.
Thank you.
So that is our race winner, Mr. Marcus Hagman. Connor, do me a huge favor, because I'm still trying to figure out what is going on with ATVO timing and scoring. Can you double check to see who did finish second for me? Just real quick.
That would be me.
Okay, so Scott just snuck one in there, and you're able to wrestle that second place away from Damon Martinez. Your thoughts when you realized that the entire field had just got caught a lap down on the money stop?
Well, I kind of had a feeling that might happen. I'd been running the Kentucky fixed race the week prior, and that shit happened to me I don't know how many times. I should have had a couple different wins and had it taken away from me because I get trapped a lap down after being in the lead for the first half of the race. And so I kind of had a feeling it might happen. And then we got so late in the run, I didn't think it was going to happen. And then it did happen. I saw Kieran wreck off. Was that what the last caution was Kieran?
No, it was Sage.
Oh, okay.
Sage,
wow.
Sage ate the flag stand.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know what happened to Sage. He dominated this race. It looked like he was just going to walk to another win, make it 3 in a row. I'm not sure what happened to him, but yeah, it's unfortunate that him and Kieran both had some issues there in the later stages of the race. But yeah, man, with all the other guys around me, the points leader, the guy in second, and the guy in fourth, and I was in third, they all wrecked out, and they all finished deep in the field. So this is like a win, man. I'm pretty sure I'm going to regain the points lead tonight.
Safe bet.
I'm going to do them here in a minute. We'll find out before this interview is over.
Well, while you're doing that, Scott, we are going to reach out to your Rated R Racing teammate, and sponsor of tonight's event, Mr. Paul Krumrye, who, according to the Tattletale, is saying that, Paul, you put one on the podium finally.
Yeah, it's been a while. It was a crazy end of the race there, but finally managed to put the 7-Up machine up on the podium, and I'm sponsoring the race. How I didn't figure that.
Sure, why not? But you know, we saw you early on. You just race car to the face. Not really the race you were hoping for. You were kind of on the back foot since the early portion of it, but were able to rebound quite handily.
Yeah, Jeff Hollingsworth and I apparently were some net code or something, and because I didn't think he was that close to me, and he even came down and was like, "We weren't even close." But you know, I was running up front pretty good there at the beginning, and then I went to the back, and just quite a few cautions there caused me to slip through the slipstream there and pull up into the 10th, 11th, 9th spot there, and just kept creeping all the way up to that last caution, and ended up, I think I led a couple laps too, because those guys were pitting and whatnot. But yeah, it was a heck of a race. Me and Scott were, if we were sitting next to each other, we'd be elbowing each other like two kids on a playground trying to get past Damon there. We were screaming and yelling all the way across the checkerless, but yeah, it was a heck of a race.
Well, it was definitely a heck of a race from up here in the booth. You know, talk us through your mindset when you notice that things are starting to go south quickly, and the caution gremlins are starting to rear their ugly heads.
Well, hell, I had to bring him back in off the ledge after that incident with Hollingsworth.
Yeah, I was on the edge. I was like, oh, what happened? What the hell happened? And I was just freaking out in there. Scott's like, calm down. We got a lot of racing to go. I'm like, oh man, I was doing so good, and we just took it in the chin again. And, those cautions breed cautions, and it just finally at the end we finally got to where we could do some good green flag runs there, because yeah, it's just we gotta buckle down. Sometimes these guys are getting a little overzealous on things, and it just causes a lot of cautions. But I don't know what else to tell people, just to practice a lot. I mean, I've literally practiced quite a few hours this week just on Kentucky races. I know Scott's run some Kentucky races to prepare for this, and I love this track, and I love Chicagoland. I do really well at these two tracks, and you just got to keep your head together out there, and not, there's quite a bit of blocking and a lot of quick maneuvers there early on, but if people can settle down just a little bit, maybe things will get a little smoother out there with these cars.
Absolutely. But now, Scott, where are we next week?
At Auto Club, and it will be the midway point of the season. 10 races down, 10 races to go, and it will be also our last race for 3 weeks. We'll take 21 days off between races.
All right. Well, that is pretty much going to do it for us tonight.
Oh, before we go here, I just got a whole laundry list of people that I want to thank. First and foremost, Tony, I want to thank you and Connor for being up here in the booth tonight, and always ESPN for covering the race every week. I know, Tony, you've had some health issues. Excuse me for coughing. Tony, I know you've had some health issues here lately, and I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your evening when you're not feeling well to be here and cover the races for us, dude. Really does mean a lot to us that we can go back and watch the races, and I just hope that you get healthy, man, and glad that you're back, dude. Also, I want to thank Paul Krumry, my teammate. PK, man, way to hang in there tonight and come back in off the ledge. And we got 2 podiums tonight. This is huge points night for both of us. I did take over the points lead. I got a 6-point lead. PK, you chopped off about 5 or 6 points. You're only 35 back now. So you're legitimately within world championship contention, man. So that's awesome, man. So I want to thank you for always supporting the league and kicking in the amount of money that you've kicked in, because I know you've kicked in quite a few $100s for this league. So appreciate it, buddy, and great job tonight, man.
Thanks, man. No problem, man. It's fun to sponsor these races and give a little cash back to the guys out there.
And lastly, I just want to thank all the drivers that come out and support this league. I know tonight wasn't our best race. These 1.5 miles, we had a pretty good one last week, but these 1.5 miles, for whatever reason, they get out of hand. I hate going to them, but we need tracks to fill the schedule. So we run these tracks. Sometimes it's good. sometimes it's like this. But I appreciate all you guys supporting the league. It'll be a better race at Auto Club next week. And want to just say, anybody at Sports Top Fuel Racing, thanks.
Yeah, and one more thing too is just you know, thoughts go out and prayers go out to Robert Dudley. Still, you know, he lost his mother last week during the race, and he wasn't able to be here. And Robert, you know, we think about you every day, and you know, lots of losses this last few months, and just want to tell him that we're thinking about him over here.
Yes, sir. And anybody else out there in the league that's been going through family issues or just health issues in yourself, man, just we're thinking about you, and we're hoping the best for you and your families.
Drink more 7-Up.
Good night, everybody.